Morning, everyone. My name is Autumn Jackson, a strategic communication student at Morgan State University. It is my pleasure today to talk with Nicole Williams of the League of Women's Voters in Montgomery County about her reaction to this historic election. Good morning, and thank you for joining me, Ms. Williams.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing okay.
Great. Of course, my first big question is, what is your reaction to the presidential election results thus far?
I mean, being that I am a member of the League of Women Voters and we are closely tied to the election board, this is what we expected. You know, millions of votes have been casted ahead of time and people are still counting. We just, we need patience. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's like you take a test, pencils down, and you wait. So there are a lot of people that are glued to the TV right now, but I don't really recommend that. Gotta take a break because, I think one of the states announced I think it's Nevada, possibly, they won't be releasing their information until Thursday.
Oh,
We've
wow.
got, so it's a waiting game right now. So patience, really.
Right. I know you said this outcome doesn't surprise you at all. You guys were really prepared for this to happen?
Yeah, we have to. I mean, that's the whole point of being tied to the election board and understanding what's happening with them minute by minute. So, even, leading up to the election, Governor Hogan's decision, all of that, once those things happen, it's like a chain reaction. And so
Right.
it's our job with our Making Democracy Work committee to stay connected to the Board of Elections so we know what's the next move. And then we can also, propose things like more ballot boxes, which is what we got. I think I had mentioned before, 11 we had in our county of Montgomery County for the primaries, and now we have 40 for this. So, we have to stay on top of that so that we can turn around and let the public know exactly what's going on. So yes, we've been prepared.
That's good. I was surprised, but at the same time, I kind of expected it, especially because Trump went out and said, "Oh, we won and everything." So I was kind of expecting him to do that.
Yes. I mean, that just, how can I say this? It just comes from a place of honestly selfishness in a way, because, there are procedures that go along with elections. And, we have military votes that come in. We can't just all of a sudden say, oh, well, November 3rd is over. If your vote didn't count or get counted, it doesn't count. That's not how this works. And he doesn't really have a leg to stand on as far as the courts go, because there's processes there as well. There hasn't been any fraud. There's nothing to contest. So, he can shout Supreme Court all day, but there's still a process there and there are laws in place that he has to follow.
Right. What do you think were the big factors during this campaign season that got us to where we are today?
Well, I guess it's hard to kind of say because we don't have an outcome yet,
Right.
But the things that are going on with the pandemic and how, both sides are choosing to handle that play a big role. And of course, in the eyes of the public, which is why we had so many early votes and mail-in ballots, the fear of, what will happen if I vote in person. As far as the campaign goes, I honestly, my goal was to kind of avoid that.
Right.
Our job is not to tell people who to vote for. Our job is to educate people on the candidates, on the process, and ask them to vote.
Right.
And so I'm not big on following the campaigns. I don't need to do that. We have a voter's guide. I can look at, how candidates respond to the questions that are important to us. Because, I'm also a private citizen, so I have my own interests and I have to educate myself as well. I took time to go through what the candidates had to say. I didn't just blindly vote. I need to make sure it made sense. So as far as the campaign trail goes, that's not something I personally chose to follow because it's, I did see the first debate. And the only reason why I watched was just to kind of see how the mail-in votes would be demonized, and they were. And so, just that type of rhetoric is not something that you need to hear all the time. I don't want to come desensitized, to it. And I just want to continue doing what we do, on the ground to protect voting rights.
Okay. What do you think or hope will happen in the next few weeks? And do you have any concerns or hopes for the future?
Well, I'm hoping that we do get this election result so everybody can kind of calm down.
Me too.
And then I'm hoping that there are individuals who right now, may not know how to handle the results, that they find peace with it and don't decide to, take any actions that may harm someone else, because everyone has the right to vote. It's a private matter. I almost wish people wouldn't even talk about it. Just do it and let it be done.
Right.
At the end of the day, you don't necessarily need to know who your neighbor voted for. Maybe who your mate voted for. That might be important. But voting is a private matter, and I just hope that there are no outbreaks of riots. And I saw a lot of boarded up stores in Georgetown and New York, and it just hurts to see that's a precaution that people have to take. But we know what happened with the previous riots with George Floyd, so it makes sense. And as far as the future goes, I just hope that we stay engaged. We watch the legislative session when that begins and what our elected officials are doing. Stay on top of that. I hope that more individuals become engaged in the process, whether it's with our organization or another. I think a lot more of us are awake now to understand, the different types of voter suppression and how it happens to so many different individuals across the country. And I pray that, when it comes to the midterms, we don't fall asleep again, because that's happened before. So we just need to know to vote in every election, stay on top of our voter registration, continue to make that a thing, so that when someone goes to the polls, they don't find that they were knocked off the rolls, or maybe they didn't do something correctly. So just more awareness with the democratic process and the part that everyone can play, whether it's, writing a letter to actually joining an organization.
Is there anything else that you would like to share with us about election 2020?
Well, the big thing right now is the national popular vote versus the electoral college. And, if people are interested in the national popular vote, which we should be, you need to check out nationalpopularvote.com and understand the movement there, because we really need more public support. The league has been involved in that for a long time. And, it should be more about what the country has to say as a whole and not about electoral college. That's an outdated process. And, unfortunately, we've had, previous individuals win the popular vote, but then lose in the electoral college. And that's not right, because it's disheartening to the public, and we want to know that our vote matters every time. And it does, but that process, it's a shadow that is casted over it. So I'm hoping that people are kind of looking at that side by side, because I know a lot of the outlets kind of put up the electoral college and then they put up the national popular vote. And right now that's in Biden's favor. But it's more of going forward, if we can't do what we need congressionally, with amendments to abolish the electoral college, then we have to use the workaround, and that is the national popular vote.
Thank you, Ms. Williams, for joining me today to share your thoughts about the election. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to help me with this assignment, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You are a bright individual. Happy to help. You just let me know anytime. I see big things for you, Autumn.
Thank
I really
you.
do. I really do. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.